morning. Hi, Mark.
Good morning.
Woo,
Good
our,
morning.
our second episode. So exciting.
Brilliant. I'm buzzing for it. It's great.
Yes. So today it's all about, relationships and how when you are in a toxic relationship, how you can overcome it. And so, like, considering that it takes two to tango, how should two people rise above, the battleground and avoid drama in their lives? Like, for instance, from my experience, when you do that, when you rise above the battleground, you remove yourself from the human chess game, and then, like, you no longer feel like others are out there to get you, and then I think it just eases things. Don't you agree? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I do. If someone was to say to me, what's the secret to a good relationship? I think, obviously communication, trust, and all that sort of stuff. But it takes a long time to build those things, and sometimes timing is everything as well. There's a lot of some people get into relationships, don't they, because they feel they need to be with someone, or there's like an urgency to be in a relationship because it's the thing to do. And maybe sometimes men and women, we rush into things because it's the happy medium, and it's just more to have companionship sometimes. But you're absolutely right. It's such a big subject, and I've like many people, I've experienced it many times, the ups and the downs. So yeah.
And that's a great point there, Mark, when you said that sometimes people get into relationships just because they want companionship. And oh my gosh, so much can go wrong when you get together with someone for one reason or another. It has to be like, at least, and nowadays with Tinder, with all these things, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a great thing. A lot of people meet, a lot of people get married because of those dating apps, but it's made it so easy to to cycle around and to to meet people, to go out and to have casual encounters. And so people aren't putting the effort into really getting to know someone else. And so, yes, a lot of times you get into this relationship and things are good in the beginning because it's all the physical, rush. And then when that's done and over with, then you're left feeling like, I don't even know this person. And then all the fights begin, and then all the confusion. Yeah, what a mess.
Yeah, and that's fascinating, right? Because so I've never had a dating app. Now, there has been times when I thought, oh, I might do that. But the thing that stopped me was, it was exactly what you just said. It was how easy it is. And then I think with how easy it is breeds contentment and maybe temptation as well. I think there's a massive problem with it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I do think it's I do think for some people, and it's a very, very good thing. Technology's changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I always revert to, and always said, is to younger people. When I was 18, 20 years old, if I liked a girl, I had to pluck up the courage, and I had to think to myself, oh, I've got to ask her for a number. So I would, there was the night before, the week before, can I do this? Can I do this? Then I'd ask for the number. They'd give me their home number. They probably lived at home. Then I had to go through the fear factor of, I've got to ring up and probably their mum or dad's going to answer. And it was quite hard work, but it's character building, and it gives you that experience and that, that drive and that kind of like confidence to then speak to someone. Whereas now, it is too easy. And apart from the easiness, the thing that concerns me the most is the safety of it. Because like you said, you have absolutely no idea who you're speaking to. And within 24 hours, we could meet someone just like that and not really know anything about them.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And you can fall into a trap, and it always seems like it's a great thing, and nobody will start a relationship thinking it's a bad thing, thinking they shouldn't, obviously. No, but a lot of times, they fall into a terrible, terrible situation, and then it's a vicious cycle. And then, yeah, so this brings us to my wonderful interview with Nina Kundi. Oh, it was brilliant. And let's play it, and then we'll be right back. Hi, this is Nina Kundi with us today. She is a sexual and female empowerment coach. She has worked within the end summers industry for 18 years, helping and supporting women to become financially independent and building confidence to enjoy healthy relationships. Nina, thank you for being here with us today.
No, it's such an honor for you to ask me, Cisa. I'm so excited about our little chat show today. Really excited to kickstart. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. We are very excited to have you. So Nina, you have had your share of relationships, like unhealthy relationships. Tell us a little bit about that and how you overcame it.
So my relationships kind of started from an early age, unfortunately. Right from the age of being 18, 19, unfortunately, I fell into a toxic relationship. And it was kind of a little bit bizarre because at the time when you're young, you're very naive, you don't really see the toxic relationship until it all comes to a head. So my first relationship, I absolutely fell in love with this boy, absolutely fell in love with him. And unfortunately for me, he completely broke my heart. And the reason he broke my heart is because we kind of grew away from each other. His father passed away. I wasn't mature enough to support him and develop him, and console him in his bereavement for his father. So that kind of then ended that relationship, and what kind of got me onto the path of maybe going down the wrong path, sorry. So cut a long story short, I did end up in a toxic relationship, and being a young age, I thought it was absolutely amazing. We had an amazing life. We got engaged at such an early age as well, and then very, very naively realized that this guy was heavily into drugs. And unfortunately, the drugs then took over the relationship, which then ended up in violence. It ended up in arguments. It ended up where I needed a way of getting out. And it's really, really hard, Cisa, when you're in a relationship like that, because you don't really see what others see around you, because you're they say love is blind. And at the time, I was very, very young, very much in love, very blind, very naive at what was going on, until I just had a massive wake-up call. And then it was kind of like masterminding this plan in order for me to get out. Now, it took a long time for me to do that because I needed to build up the confidence and actually believe in myself that I was worth more than what I was receiving on the other end. And, luckily for me, I was in a great situation where I had a great support network. I have great family, great friends who was there to help me in order for me to put a plan together in order for me to move away from this relationship. But once I moved away, it didn't end. It didn't end there. It carried on for a good 12 months after I managed to build up the confidence enough to leave him. I was still haunted by him for at least 12 months after I'd left.
I see. Yes, that sounds very tough. And a lot of us, I believe, fall into this emotional trap. Like and it's endless. Like you feel like you depend on the person, and you feel like without that person, you cannot go on. And then you just fall deeper and rabbit hole.
And that's the thing, and I think that's where I was at that present moment in time, because when you weigh up and you're young and you're naive and you can't see the wood for the trees, you think that you are in the most amazing relationship that you've ever been in, when really, in an ideal world, if I was to look at this now being the ripe age of 42, I can look now and see that ideally I should have left sooner. But you're right with regards to emotions. We have such an emotional connection to this, to the relationship. We think that that is all we deserve, that is what we are worth, that we generally kind of just really go out there and think, well, it's okay, I can put up with it a bit longer, I can put up with it a bit longer, I don't want to be on my own. And then you start having all of the monsters talking to you then about the fact that nobody else is going to love you, you might as well stay where you are. This is it, this is what you deserve, this is what you get, this is your own fault for starting this relationship in the first place. And once those monsters start setting in, it really, really does undervalue how you see yourself. And this is one of the main reasons why I became a female empowerment coach, because I've been through that emotional torture of not wondering what I am worth. Why am I worth a better relationship? And until you actually connect with that inner core, you don't see it. You just don't see it.
That's so right. Because from my experience, even the most confident women have their self-esteem
Yeah.
stripped away in a toxic relationship. And yes, within your coaching, how do you help them get that back?
What I actually do for them is we go through different topics on life skills. It's all about building their confidence, their inner confidence. Now, confidence, as we know, is a feeling. It's not something you can pick up and throw in the bin whenever you feel like. So it's about building that feeling, and it's about really getting in touch with themselves inside, knowing what their values are, what they're willing to accept and what they're not willing to accept. And there's a lot of women out there at the moment that really truly don't know what it is that they want. And just touching on what you were saying about strong women are the women that really don't show what is happening to them. I mean, I later in life, not so many years ago, went through a relationship where I was actually a victim of abuse. And I didn't see myself as a victim of abuse because I am a strong person, and I think, well, how can I be a victim? How can I show that vulnerability out there? Because I don't want people to think that I'm weak. And that is the major downside to strong women, unfortunately. We will carry the burden on our shoulders. We don't want other people to see us as being weak because we've continued with our life. We've struggled through anything that has been thrown our way, and we've managed to get out of it. But what we've done in order to do that and in order to survive, we have kind of built up a wall. And it's about being able to slowly reduce that wall back down again. It's about knowing that you are good enough. And it is about going out there and really connecting with yourself and really understanding what it is that you want, what you're going to deserve, why do you deserve it. And the other thing is as well, self-love plays a massive part. And when they truly love themselves, because a lot of women generally don't come out of a relationship, Cesar, because they don't think that they are going to be loved by somebody else again, and they don't think that they can actually live a life on their own. And I see this so many times with regards to people who are in relationships that have children. They then sit there and think, well, actually, I can't be a single mum. I don't want to be a single mum. I'm not going to be able to survive bringing these children up on my own. So because they don't see that element of, having that success, they can't see the light, at the other side of the tunnel, they choose to stay in a relationship for the sake of the children. So this is about being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that you have got the power to change your story, knowing that it's you that's going to be able to take that step forward. And it's also about ensuring that your children are understanding that, if mum is not happy, mum needs to move out of this relationship, and it's working with them as well in order to see that, children like to see two happy parents. They don't want to be brought into a world where the parents are arguing and are volatile all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is so right. And I do know a lot of women who fall into that terrible, terrible cycle of being in a toxic relationship within a marriage, and they won't leave because they fear being alone, or they fear for their children, and then they end up trapped in this, and it just makes it for a very hostile environment for everybody,
Yeah.
and it's just terrible. It's very unfortunate. So what are important signs women out there should be looking for to know they are in an unhealthy, toxic relationship?
So, I mean, to be honest, a lot of it is down to feelings. Yeah. And, if they are with somebody and they feel like they are not being truly valued, they are not being appreciated for what they do. If you are having a lot of arguments with your partner, and I don't just mean the everyday arguments, we all have, arguments are part of life. If we didn't have arguments, life would be rosy, but then life would be boring. We need to be able to vent our frustrations, and it's okay when you've got a partner where you can have that connection with, and you can have that heated argument with, but on the other side of things, that it doesn't turn into anything that's volatile. A volatile relationship is not a happy relationship. Being with somebody who doesn't appreciate them, doesn't value them, doesn't give them the love that they need, certainly doesn't care for them, doesn't express any emotions towards them. There are partners on both male and female sides out there, see, so that it becomes violent. And you should never ever be in a violent relationship. You should understand that you are worth more. And I always say, if you truly love somebody, you would not speak to that person the way that you do.
That is so true. That is so true. Because, and I say this to a lot of women that I talk to as well,
Mm.
that think about the way that you would talk to your child, and all that love and all that caring. Just apply that to the person you're with as well. Because
Yeah.
a lot of times we do tend to just be aggressive or be nonchalant, or we forget that that is the person we fell in love with. We need
Yeah.
to nurture that relationship, and so this is a way of doing it.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people say, and have said to me in the past, he doesn't love me. Okay. And that seems to be something that comes out quite a lot across the board. But when we talk about love is not a feeling, love is a verb. Okay. The feeling comes from love. And so knowing that your partner might, I don't know, make you a cup of tea, he might run you a bath, he might wash your car, he might do all of these things for you. Just because he doesn't say to you on a daily basis, I love you, does not mean to say that he is not in love with you. And I think a lot of people don't understand, because another reason is a lot of women out there, especially women, and that's only my findings through working with women. I don't tend to work with men as much as I work with women, but my findings are that women say, I feel I don't have any love. But there are actually 7 different types of love out there. You know, we've got all kinds of love out there. We've got the universe. So when we look outside the door, we see the nature, we see the birds, we see the bees, you know, we see the grass growing. All of that is the universe showing us the love that the universe has for us. We have our children who absolutely love us unconditionally. And that is something that I always point out to ladies that come to me and work with me, especially when they're in a relationship and they think, well, actually, you know, I can't do this on my own because nobody loves me. But you've got children. You've got children out there that love you. Yeah. And there is no stronger love than a bond between parents and children. There is no stronger love. But then a lot of people home in on the fact that they think that love is all about sex. And being a sexual well-being coach as well, it's a lot of people say to me, oh my god, it's all about sex. Well, sex is not about sexual well-being. Sexual well-being is all about feeling womanly. It's all about having that intimacy with your partner, and intimacy does not mean to say that it has to be sex. There are different levels of intimacy. Running a bath, having a massage, you know, just having a cuddle on the couch is being intimate with your partner. And I think my role and my responsibility as a sexual well-being and female empowerment coach is to really ensure that ladies out there understand what is it that this actually means. Because when they see the beauty of what it means, their mindset changes on their relationship. And that is so powerful, Cisa. It is such a lovely thing to watch.
Yes, yes. And Nina, you were talking about love language. There are different love languages out there. And a lot of us, especially us women, because we're so emotional, we always expect from our partners the same love language back. And just like you said, it doesn't, he might be washing your car for you. He might be doing things for you. And so women should try to recognize that and should see that as them telling you, I love you.
And that, yeah, and that is a massive part. And I've been through this myself, Cisa, because, you know, my partner, you know, he's not the best at expressing his emotions. And I've been through that journey where I've thought, why doesn't he love me? And what I've found is growing in myself, growing with my self-worth, growing with my self-love, noticing what is around me a little bit more and really digging deep into what it is that I want. What I have learned is my ability to love somebody is a massive part of me. And that is a really strong ability because I am a strong person. Not everybody has the same ability or the same level of that ability. So just because that person may not tell you all the time does not mean to say that they don't love you. It could just be that their ability to show that love to you is not as strong as your ability to give affection.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. And I absolutely am loving everything that you're saying here. It's so important. And I'm sure that everyone watching us is loving it as well. I wish we had more time to discuss all of these things.
Definitely. I could sit here and talk about love and happiness and sexual well-being all day. I definitely could.
Yes, but thank you so much, Nina, for coming on the show with us. Thank you for giving us a little bit of, of an insight as to what you do and how you help women out there. And I hope that all of you watching this, that you can reach out to Nina. And she's wonderful. She has your back. She'll have your back for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. And it has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for obviously spending this time with me today. It has been an honor to be invited on.
Of course. Thank you so much. Have a
Take care, my lovely.
Take care.
See you.
All right, we're back. That was good, right? She's amazing.
Yeah, really, really good. Nina's very knowledgeable. She really knows her stuff, obviously. So I think there's so many things she said there which are very powerful. The thing is, for me, I don't really differentiate too much between men and women on it, because I think sometimes it's quite easy to go from a specific angle of who you personally are. So if you're a female, I'm a male. I think a lot of these things that happen, it's like the cleaning of the car and stuff. This is so true. But then there's a lot of females also, which they do fantastic stuff. They clean the house, they cook, they do all these things and whatever. And I think men and women are not that dissimilar. That's the real thing I wanted to make out of this, because we all encounter the same things. If you've got a misbalance in that relationship, we're all in the same situation. And I certainly know that. Like when I said before about I've never been on a dating app, I haven't, but I have had 2 partners that I've met through getting to know them. My initial contact with them would have been through social media. So it's not a dating app, but I would have got to know them through social media, which is quite, when I look back at it, it's not that dissimilar really, but I built a friendship up first, what I believe was a friendship, and then got into a relationship. It was never intention to date them. But I found that with some people, you can take 6 months, a year, and you still don't fully know who they really are. Maybe longer. This is just through my experience, but maybe longer. So yeah, it's,
Yeah,
the minefield.
It's true. It's true. However, I think like she has some valid points regarding the fact that you just have to be careful out there, and you have to, just be aware of yourself first of all, and then the person you're with. And if you are in a relationship, if you have a family, then always strive to do better by yourself, and do better by the person you're with and your kids. And if it's just a single a couples relationship, no kids involved, the same, so yeah, it's you got to keep it healthy. You got to understand that when something doesn't work, then don't push it. Know when you've crossed the limit, you've drawn the line, and move on. And yes, be okay with it, I guess. And also, just a call to action. Just don't ignore red flags.
Do you know what I was waiting for you? I was waiting for you to ease down. I was going to say about that, but you're absolutely right. The red flags, the gut feeling is so important, and that's another thing that I've had experiences where I should have acted on stuff, and the red flags were there. And then if you're a nice person, right? If you're a good person, you kind of can start to make excuses for people, or you can say, well, they had this and they had that, and give them another try. But sometimes the gut feeling, the red flags, they might be silenced for a bit, but they're always there. But it's trusting your gut feeling, isn't it? And I think that's something that probably comes more with age and experience. So when you're younger, you probably don't tend to act on these things so much. But yeah, you're right. Your call to action is so important. Yeah.
Yes. So as long as our younger viewers understand that it's just important to be aware of red flags, because yes, we have all been guilty at one point or another of ignoring them. So just be aware and be careful not to fall into a toxic relationship. But if you do, then also pick up your pieces and move on. Don't stay in a vicious cycle, because it's not good for anyone. So yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's interesting on that, right? Because we say don't stay in a relationship, it's not good for them. And you're absolutely right. But this is why I think sometimes people can rush things, and then you meet someone, and then within 2 or 3 months or 6 months, they're getting engaged. And you kind of like, I've never been engaged, but I've seen it, and like you get deeper and deeper and deeper into it, and that's when I think the pressure becomes much harder to walk away. It's about not letting yourself get totally submerged in it, and suddenly you're married, and you've got a family, and you knew in your head that these red flags already starting.
That is right. Well, a wonderful subject, and again, it's one thing that we can talk about forever, but we have to conclude our our episode. So yay, thank you, Mark, and yeah, I will see you next time.
See you next time. We got a good one lined up next week as well. We won't say now, but it's a good episode.
Oh,
So
it's gonna be brilliant.
I'm excited.
Exciting for sure. All right.
Take care of yourself.
Take care. See you guys. Bye bye.